EXCL Garage. Welcome, a bit different in this one. Doing a couple of bits of EXCL. Good. Alright everyone, welcome back to another episode of EXCL Garage. So in this episode we're kind of at the peak of the LS3 engine build. From here we've got a couple of bits to do and then we can start putting it back together with all the new bits, put the pistons back in, new rings, bearings, all that lot. So in this episode we're going to paint the block, make it look all snazzy and nice before we put it all back together, because it is a used engine. I did buy it as a core, so hopefully it works, but the idea is, of course, to make it look all nice again. And then we're going to be honing the cylinder bores, which is essentially just skimming off the very edge of the cylinder bores, and just to give it a nice new fresh surface for when we put the pistons back in with the new rings, so it all seals properly, makes as much compression as possible, and then makes as much power as possible, obviously. So we've got the engine over there, and if you haven't been following along, that is an L92 aluminium 6.2 litre truck engine out of a, I don't know, 2009 Escalade or such. Essentially an LS3, just had VVT, now it doesn't. I'm going to be putting it in this, my wide body GT86 here. Hoping to do that over this winter, probably into next summer. The way things go, going to be realistic, it's probably going to take a while, but that's the plan. So what we're going to do, as I say, is get that engine block painted up, then rehome the cylinders, and go from there. Let's dive into it. Right, so here we are. Here's the engine block. I've given it a clean inside and out. Not that we're going to be painting the inside, but you know what I'm doing. Anyway, need to get this masked up. Need to get the, of course, tops of the cylinders masked away. Not going to put the heads on for this. Need to get the valley cover back on. Need to get the front timing cover back on. Get a water pump inlets masked up. Probably get the pan back on, everything just kind of with a couple of bolts just to kind of seal it, stop any paint residue from getting in and so on. Right, so this is how we're going to do this. Do the old snap trick. And there we have it, all taped up. Got the cylinder bores covered, valley covered with the valley cover, the rear seal cover put back on. Probably not going to paint around the back anyway, but you know, best not get it inside the engine. All the way around, timing cover back on, water pump outlets covered. And then the sump put back on, just a good measure. So just gonna hit this with some paint. Gonna start off with some primer. Got some engine enamel primer here. All high temp and stuff, up to, you know, those temperatures. Give it a good shake. Then we're gonna start giving it a spray. Give it a couple of coats, move on to the color I've got for it. Just a nice anthracite, nothing crazy. Yeah, not black, so engine oil leaks will still show up somewhat. But yeah, get it cracking. Right, now that that's all primed up, got a nice coat on there, nice couple of coats even. Now it's all done, we're going to hit it with some colour, and the colour I've chosen is this. It's a heat resistant engine anthracite colour, something a little bit like that I suppose. Just wanted something quite subtle. Didn't want to go for black because if there's any oil leaks you won't see it. You might see it somewhat on this colour, but it's better than nothing. I didn't want to just go an aluminium colour, I wanted to make it a little bit interesting. Didn't want Chevy orange or whatever, and I didn't want something absolutely crazy. So anthracite it is. I won't bore you guys with another time lapse, so let's do the old snapperoo. And there we go. So it's quite subtle in this light. Can't really see it all too well because it's got a little bit, light's got a little bit funny now, but here it is, looking very nice, very good finish. Just kind of gives it that OEM block looking finish without it, well, being silver. That's how it all looks, and of course we're going to be getting all new sensors, new sump, plugs. So just chuck the old ones on there to kind of not get paint inside the engine, obviously, and then come around the back. So hopefully with the nice polished heads on, and some new covers, like I say, new refreshed heads, new valley cover, new intake, new rocker covers. Whole thing's going to look fantastic. Yeah, it's looking very good. I'm very pleased with it. This is 2 coats, so fantastic. Good job. And here we go once again, just taking all the tape off, taking all the front covers off, taking the sump off and so on, and you can really see now just how it looks with the contrast between the nice polished surfaces and the actual block itself. You know, I did some taping around here, looks very nice. Down here, you know, really shows it off now that you can see the contrast of it. Back around to the front. Yeah, I'm really pleased with how this turned out. And I have to say, my first time painting an engine block came out very well. It's all just about the preparation as everything with paint. Make sure you mask it up all right and you're not going to get any paint going anywhere it shouldn't go. From here, just going to give it a little bit more clean up and start honing those cylinder bores. Right, so here we are down at the engine and the cylinder bores. And the job now is, I'll try to get you guys in here as much as possible, but the job now is to make this, it's already very smooth, but to make this all very uniform. So we've got a couple of marks here, some scratches, nothing too deep, nothing you can dig your fingernail into. But we're just here to get this all nice and uniform all the way around, all 8 cylinders. And to do that, we use this pretty gnarly looking contraption. What this is essentially is a set of 3 sanding blocks, very fine sanding blocks, on essentially a thing you put in a drill. You shove these in here, let it expand out and just start spinning it around you, add some oil, and you just go ham, really, for lack of a better word. Gives a lovely cross-hatching effect, and it literally isn't even taking off a millimetre of material, because otherwise you'd be reboring them and fitting new pistons with bigger piston rings to match. But that'd give this a nice, lovely, essentially machined finish. Just a nice sealing surface for the piston rings. So we're going to do that on all 8. What I'm going to do though is bring you guys back, because I'm going to do it, as you can see, we still have the crank in the engine, and I don't want really, it will obviously remove a little bit of material, which I'm going to be wiping up, but just to give it the best chance possible, I'm actually going to do it mostly upside down, so it should run out the top of the engine rather than go down onto the crank journals. So here we go. There we go, I think that's the orientation I'm going to do it at. Let's get some oil. Right, so hopefully this isn't too messy. I've got an assortment of bits here. Got some old engine oil, which I'm going to lubricate these sanding blocks with. Got some, essentially WD-40 as well. Just to, this is what you're generally meant to use. Of course, just lubricates it all. I think that will be the first cylinder all nice and done. Let's give it a good wipe. Just some carb cleaner in here just to get out all of, there you go, that's all metal residue. Give it a wipe around with a microfiber. Get any more stuff that's stuck to the surface off. Oh yeah, look at that. There we have it. It's looking much nicer. As you can see, it's got a nice uniform cross-hatching pattern. It's all very clean, not that that matters. And now we're just going to give it a lick of oil to stop it from rusting. Of course, although the whole block is aluminium, these sleeves here you can see in the block are steel, and so they will rust. So we're just going to put a load of WD-40 type stuff in there, and then run it around with this lint-free rag. It's all looking very good in there. Gonna move on to the others. It shouldn't take very long at all. Let's pull you guys back, and we'll time lapse the other 3 here. 1, 2, 3. And voila! 4 nice honed cylinders. Let's bring you guys in a little bit so you can have a closer look. See here, looking much nicer. Smooth, uniform, fantastic. And you can really see just how simple it is to get a nice honed finish. So we're going to do the other 4 now. Well, I'm going to do that off camera even. Then the next jobs are to re-ring and slot the pistons back in. So what are we waiting for really? Let's crack on with that. I'll see you guys once I've done the other 4. Right, here we go. So it's been just a few seconds for you guys, but it's been a couple of hours for me. I've been quite busy. But we've got all of the all 8 cylinders honed, looking very nice as best you can see in this light. All nice and shiny, all nice and cross-hatched, all nice and uniform, no discoloration. Any ever so slight scratches have been removed. I'm quite happy with that. Cleaned them all up, gave them all a lick of fogging oil inside so they won't rust. Just tidied up the engine a little bit more, cleaned out the oil galleys, cleaned out things like the pulley mount there and the flywheel mount and such. And it's all looking very good. Can't wait to start getting it all back together. And in preparation for that, I've also got the pistons all cleaned up now. We're looking very good. Just yeah, there's a few slight bits of carbon build-up still on them. I didn't want to go crazy. Just wanted to really just knock off as much as I could. You know, that stuff will come off the first time you rev the engine out. And you know, if you go too abrasive on it, you'll just remove material, which you don't want. So these are all looking very nice, ready to get the pistons applied, which I'll start doing next actually. So I think what we're going to do next is get these pistons all ringed, show you how to do that. It's all moving forward. Can't wait. All right guys, that's gonna be it for this episode. As you know, just taking it one step at a time. Got the block all painted, got the cylinder bores all honed. So really, we're ready to now begin actually putting it back together. Next episode, we'll be re-rigging the pistons, dropping the pistons in, popping on the bearings and checking their clearances. Then after that, I mean, it's cam, lifters, eventually the heads. All very, very exciting. So as I always say, if you like the video, please consider subscribing down below or even drop a comment or a like. As always, hope you guys have a good one and I hope to see you next time. Cheers. Bye-bye for now.